And they're off and away. Everyone off except for that number 2, starting from pit lane, Alex Schmidt. Everyone off in number order. Alex already off the track. So a nightmare start. Wesley Van Helman leading them away. The car 3 getting it was car 4, I think, getting sideways. And a massive collection of cars giving Wesley Van Helman and Thomas Krause, our youngest racer here probably, a massive, huge lead. Great clearance for the first time for Wesley Van Helman coming across the triple down the main straight. They got a huge lead on the rest of the field. And it's the 7 and the 6. Sorry, the 7 and the 8 are squabbling over position with the 5 and the 9. So that is Cyril Kador, Sword Lubelinkov, Abbas, and Vandenberg. Meanwhile, we are on the lead cars. Thomas Krause trying to pressure Wesley Van Helman. Krause taking a double single. Wesley Van Helman taking it as a triple. Nice flat landings from everybody. Well, at least from these two. I'm not sure what's happening behind. The 7 is leading the 8. Then it's the 5, 9, 0, 6. The 4 and the 2. Alex Schmidt finally getting a pass on somebody. He's got to work his way very carefully through this field. We've seen what can happen when cars land just a bit off. Landing on one tire. Inserts exploding out of the tires. Basically like running on a flat. So Krause very, very slowly losing just a little bit of time here and there. Let's see, last time across, Krause about a second and a half behind Van Helman. Van Helman very easily able to clear that triple. Krause taking it as a double single, which is definitely the slower route. Wesley able to get a good line in acceleration. Watch this acceleration coming off of this berm. Full throttle, bam, clears it. Nice and flat, while Krause does it as a double single. So that alone is giving probably a half a tenth to Van Helman every time he goes around. .27 minutes left in this one. Wesley, slight mistake somewhere. Went a little wide. And that has let Krause creep up just a bit. Krause driving a smart race here, I would say. Again, this is an endurance race. It's a 30-minute race. These cars are beasts. They're not indestructible, however, so throwing the car deep in is not the way to, well, one, it's not a way to make friends, especially with the referees who are probably going to tell you to do a stop and go. But also, it drastically increases the chances of problems such as major breakages. Going to put an end to the race. So Krause, very gentle jumping. These two leading away. Krause with about almost a 6-second lead on the number 6 car, or number 8 car of Lubelinkov. They're coming up on the stricken number 10, who's gone into the pits once again, and that's Kevin Van Medevort, sorry, who's actually come off the rostrum. So going to try, again, as we saw in some of the early... Oh, and Krause goes over, but he lands on his wheels, doesn't need to marshal. Nearly ended up, well, he was actually about half the car was in the main straight, and if he continued tumbling, this mess of cars could have had 5 or 6 cars smashing directly into him, which would definitely, almost certainly, put an end to the race with a major breakage. These two still leading away, the 1 and the 3. The number 2 of Alex Schmidt running in 5th after having to start from the pit lane because he called a 10-minute timeout for a technical reason. Any driver, who's this who stopped in the middle? I don't see a car number yet. It's the 0. It's okay. Van Metavort having problems, not wanting to get in anyone's way, especially the leaders. These two making the way around once again. Look at this drive that Wesley gets. Really good line there. We saw Wesley in action just a couple weeks ago in Utrecht in Holland, running 10th scale. I think driving for Losi. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm sure our Dutch friends can tell us. So Van Helman still leading away. And this is almost exactly the kind of race that Wesley wants to have. The only way to make it better was if Thomas Krause was in this gaggle of cars behind him with the 8 and the 5 and the 2. So we might drop back to the number 2 as soon as he catches up to the number 5, because he's going to start working his way through these guys. Obviously, he qualified 2nd, so he's obviously just a bit quicker. And I think let's go to the straight now, because we do have definitely a battle for 3rd place here. It's a 3-car battle for 3rd. Final podium spot. There's no more bump ups, remember. Oh, and getting sideways there. Oh, and let's get some names on these numbers here. Okay, so we got this Stjord Lubelinkov leading away. Now he's pulled away just a bit, but we might make a mistake and let these two catch up. And then we've got the car 5 of of Cyril Cador. And then we have the Alex Schmidt car in the number 2. Let's drop back to these two. So this is Lubelinkov and Schmidt. No, sorry, it's Cador and Schmidt. Schmidt starting from the pit lane after calling a 10-minute technical timeout, which he didn't use all of the time. And weirdly, I don't think anybody used all of the warm-up time that they had. Number 8 car, I think it is, has just... No, who is that? It's not the 8. It's the 6, I think, is being retrieved by the marshal. That's Theo Plant. Watch yourself there, mechanic. Watch yourself. And there we go. There's Lubelinkov makes a mistake, and let's these two guys catch up to him now. See if we can get all 3 in picture, because this is could end up being a cracker. We've got Lubelinkov in the 8, and then Cador, and then Schmidt trying to make his way through the field. Don't worry about Wesley. He's still ahead of Krause. Oh, and Cador makes a mistake. Lets Schmidt pass. So that's a fairly easy pass for Schmidt. And we watched Schmidt's semifinal earlier. Absolutely nailed to the track. Oh, and he's out. He's flamed out. He's engine gone. What has happened there? His mechanic running out, and he's trying to... mechanic able to roll it across the triple to make a little bit quicker trip for the mechanic. Sorry, the marshal was able to roll it. So anyway, that has kind of put paid to that challenge, that 3-car battle. Meanwhile, if we slowly move to the start of the straight. We've got Krause. Hasn't lost any significant time to Wesley, so what does he know? Now these guys running 30-minute race, there's no refueling. So what you have in your car at the start of the race is what you got. Trying to see if Krause has any tricks up his sleeve. It looks like he's just steady run. And that's it. There's no trickery going on. Has Schmidt now stopped running? I think the number 2 car of Schmidt has stopped running. Yes, it has. It's in the pits, and it has been pulled off the track. So unfortunately for Alex Schmidt, number 2 racer. Sorry, thanks for the questions in the chat. Happy to be corrected. Wesley Van Helman does run Schumacher, not Losi. The first time we encountered him, he was running Losi. So we have a couple battles on the track, and it looks like at the start of the straight is the other battle. These guys just came together, a little bit of a mistake, and the number 5 of Cador waited for Lubelinkov. So the order on screen is not the actual order on track at the moment. But these guys very, very close together, a lot closer than Thomas and Wesley. Coming out of the bowl hairpin into the not-so-flat hairpin now. Around the final corner. And there's the finish line, is marked by that red and white tape at the start of the main straight. So there's no drag race to the finish. It's literally right there at the start of the straight. These guys very close together. Still, I can tell you, Wesley's still leading Thomas by 2 or 3 seconds. It's not a very big gap at all. I think Thomas is just running a smart race and just waiting. Thomas actually just made a mistake just now. And another one. Oh, and he's lost a tire. He's lost a tire. Go to the middle. Go to the middle. Car number 3 has lost a tire. I think it's a rear tire, spun up and saw an inner foam fling itself out of the back. Is he going to pit? He can still drive. There goes the other one. That's the rest of the inner foam. Now he's running. His left rear is flat. So here's where a little bit of luck and a bit of preparation maybe comes in. These guys running, basically it's an open tire spec. You can run any tires that you like. You can run hard tires, soft tires, micro pins, mini pins, big lugs. But he's lost his left rear tire. So that means in right turns, he's not going to have any traction. I think if, I certainly hope for Thomas's sake, that tire is going to start coming off. It depends how well the rest of the tire is glued. I can feel raindrops, but nothing significant. So he still has some traction, as we can see. Because otherwise, he'd just be spinning around to the left constantly. But I'm sure he's crabbing. Oh, and he spins. He's spun. Has he broken? No, he's okay. That's a danger spin, especially on that front end. No bumpers on these cars. So he's not slowing anyone down but himself. Wesley is not making a massive amount of gap here. So we're just watching Thomas Krause to see what happens here and what he does. Wesley still just laying down just steady laps. Not sure how this inner foam situation happened. We did see Thomas hit the pipe on the left side significantly, possibly, twice before that inner foam started coming off. So it could have been spun up, and that broke the inner foam, and that made it unbalanced, and then it just kind of worked its way out of somehow from the tire. But Wesley now building up his gap. His gap last time around, 4.5 seconds. This time around, now this is probably the 4th or 5th lap that Thomas has been going around. Now it's 5 seconds flat, so Wesley now making up a half a second a lap at least, and that's with lap traffic as well, the last couple of laps. So his lap time gap will be even larger this time, I'm sure. Wesley just running steady pace. Let's go ahead and move to Wesley. It's the number 1 car, just the white and yellow car coming down the main straight now. And I'll have a look at what the gap is to Thomas. So now it's 5.5 seconds. So it's still a half a second a lap on Thomas, running in second. Thomas currently not threatened by any means by Sjord Lubelinkov, who's still battling with Cyril Cador. I thought we were about to see some major drama. We're a little over halfway through this race. 30-minute race, remember. It's 13 minutes remaining. So the battle for third hasn't really gotten any hotter or colder. It's stayed about the same as it was about probably 10 minutes ago, to be honest. Let's switch to these guys here, Jim, as they're going over the big jump and into the Elcon L. Elcon, one of the main sponsors for this weekend, bringing you this live coverage from Starec in the Czech Republic. Thank you very much to Elcon, rccaronline.de, and RC Fox. So if you're looking for a model car to drive, maybe you can try a car like Wesley Van Helman's, running an Elcon. And maybe you can check and see if RC Car Online or RC Fox will sell you that car. I'm sure they'd be happy to. So in the lead of these two cars, this is our battle for third. So not for the win, but definitely for a podium position. The number 4 car has come to a stop. That's okay. It's Sandro early. Well, not okay for Sandro, but it's not affecting any of the top racers. Wesley now moved to almost 6 seconds ahead of Thomas Krause. So Lubelinkov and Cador on camera here. Lubelinkov leading the way. Still 11 minutes to go in this one. We're not even 2/3 of the distance through. And Wesley actually not pulling away at all from, let's see what car this is, of car number 6 of Theo Plant. So just driving very, very, very steady. Thomas Krause still not come in for a tire change. Now, many of these drivers, just like almost all of the drivers in 1/8 buggy and 10th Touring Car Nitro and Nitro 8th on-road track, most of those guys will be running headsets. Very few of these drivers running headsets, even in the main final. Headset means that your driver, your mechanic, can act as a spotter, saying, okay, so in this case, we're following the 8 and the 5, so we can say, well, okay, there's some rain, but don't worry about it if you feel it. It's non-existent. Or tell them the car behind you is number 5 car. You're not battling for position, so don't worry about them, or something like that. That's what spotters do. I don't think we're going to have any issues with fuel because it's quite cool. Currently 20.4 degrees. We're following the battle for third, which is currently the closest battle on track. Wesley Van Helman has led so far from start to, well, now. We're not quite finished. Thomas Krause had an inner foam fly out, so he's basically running on 3 fully inflated tires and 1 flat tire. I'm just looking at it now, and it looks like the tire is staying on the wheel, so he does have forward traction at least, but in the corners, it's obviously suffering. And it looks like Wesley has actually let the number 6 car ahead. He was running ahead of the 6 and decided, well, okay. Wesley now taking a double single, so he's toned things right back. Let's move to Wesley now because these guys are kind of spread apart now. So Wesley's here, just about to come over the first of the doubles. You see he's let the number 6 car go ahead, basically given his lap back. And Wesley running very, very tame and sedate. So very smart driving. Obviously wanting to make the final 8 minutes so he can claim what I'm pretty sure is going to be his first large-scale European championship. Just finishing his 35th lap. Thomas Krause running now 8 seconds behind. Close enough to 8 seconds. It might be 7.8, I think, if I'm reading that correctly. So running order, Van Helmond, who we're on now, Thomas Krause, Sword Lubelinkov, Cyril Cador, Lars Abez, Luke Vandenberg, Theo Plant, and Sandro Erlenhofer. Early casualty was Alex Schmidt, who had to start from pit lane after calling a technical timeout. And then we also had Kevin Van Mettenvoort, unable to complete the run. Lubelinkov and Cador still almost nose to tail. They're a lot closer now than they were, but we're giving a bit of love to Wesley. You see he's taking that as a double single now. So earlier when he was battling with Thomas for the lead, he was taking it as a triple, very easily clearing it. And obviously taking it as a double single, meaning that it's a lot less stress on the car, a lot less likely to have a crazy hit and potentially break something or bend something, so it makes the car undrivable. Everything's pointing in the right direction. Shiny side up, rubber side down. That's how you want it. 6 minutes remaining in this one. Wesley coming down the main straight once again, finishing his 38th lap. I think soon we're going to start seeing the battle for third really heat up. So coming down the main straight, these 2 greenish cars, the 8 and the 5 of Lubelinkov and Cador. Oh, and Cador get hung up on a pipe. So we may see Lubelinkov make a mistake in sympathy and bring him back together, or we may not. Actually, what is the number 6 car? He's got nothing to do with either of these two. That's fine. So as soon as we switch to him, the battle kind of fizzles out. 5 minutes remaining. So we've got the 1 of Wesley Van Helman, the 3 of Thomas Krause, and the 8 of Sword Lubelinkov. Are we on the 8 at the moment? Okay. So any mistake from him will let Cyril Cador catch up and potentially try to take that 3rd place position. 3rd place, nothing to sniff about. It's a place on the podium, and it means a trophy and potentially a bottle of champagne, which 4th place wouldn't get. So we're on the 8 of Lubelinkov as Wesley Van Helman completes his 41st lap, as does Thomas Krause. So Cador catching up very slightly. He's made his way past the lap traffic. Oh, and there's a mistake from Lubelinkov. Is that going to let Cador catch up? Yes, it does. Lets him make up about a second. Oh, and then big mistake, a big slide from Cador. Gives it all back and then some. So this race, not exactly a barn. So, oh, there goes Thomas Krause. Let's go to the end. Just off the big jump. He didn't actually make the jump. So Krause now, oh, he's flamed out. He's flamed out. Engine is cut. Thomas Krause is running again. It's running again. His mechanic very, very quick. That's what you want to see. A very fast mechanic. Oh, and he's collecting the number 6. So let's see where that puts him. I think now Krause may be off the podium, because Lubelinkov has come through, yes, in second. Krause is now running 4th, the car number 3. So, after all that, just at the very end, on a flat tire even, I can see the carcass of the tire through a tear or a hole or something in that left rear tire. All that time running in second with a flat tire, basically. And one just bad catch on a rut coming into the first corner. Throws him off the track. Engine stops and he's able to get rolling again, but now he's down in 4th. I don't think there's much that he's going to be able to do, because Cador and Lubelinkov are about 10 seconds ahead. Cador, let's see, yes, 11 seconds ahead exactly. So, a comfortable second place and a solid second place on the podium for Thomas Krause. Unfortunately, taken away at the very, very end. Let's go to Wesley Van Helman for this final minute of running. Wesley making it look easy. Can't make it look any easier than this. Wesley Van Helman taking the pole position off of, I believe it was off of Alex Schmidt in the first qualifier. Second qualifying run out of 2, Wesley Van Helman takes it, holding the overall and overnight TQ. And coming into today, qualifying directly into the semifinal, taking the pole position as well to start the main final here in the Czech Republic for the 2022 European Championships for large-scale off-road two-wheel drive buggy. He's led from start to finish, pulling away at a consistent pace from Thomas Krause. And he's about to cross the line and become the European champion for two-wheel drive large-scale off-road. Congratulations, Wesley Van Helman. And the Dutchies go wild. As they're saying, nicely done, Wesley. Good job, Wes. Excellent job.